Oh, that's good.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 6th edition of Property Secrets. It's been a great first few sessions, and we're really excited to be on here tonight. And hopefully, you've been enjoying the last few sessions that we've been having. And we hope it's been knowledgeable and exciting for you. So I hope you've gained a lot. Now, really great session tonight. We are talking about sourcing or property sourcing, which some people in the industry do know about, but there might be others who are unaware. Now, what sourcing is basically where you will find a property. And you would present that to an investor, and the investor would, if they're happy with it and the numbers obviously work for them, then they would pay you a fee for giving them that property or that opportunity. So it's a very powerful strategy in property, because it enables you to control a deal, source it to an investor, and have them pay you, a good amount. I mean, some people might pay, roughly around 2%. So if it's a £50,000 purchase, you might get roughly around £1,000. If it was, say, £1,000, £100,000 deal, you might get £2,000 for that. So it's, it can be a very lucrative opportunity that that you could be faced with. So that's just to give you an example of how that works. Now, my name is Tony Perera, and we have our my co-host Faz Ullah today. How are you doing, Faz? You okay?
Yes, hello there, Tony. I'm very well. Thank you very much. Fantastic.
Good. Now, sourcing is something that you've had very great deal of experience, isn't it, Faz?
Yes.
And you had a lot of financial success from this strategy in property, yeah?
Yes.
And you've had some good drinks, as they say out here, right? I mean, obviously, all in a professional manner, as we're talking. Sourcing is a professional business. You are obviously acting like an estate agent, so we need to be professional in this. The only difference is that the fees come not from the seller, but they come from the buyer, which suits both parties. So, Faz, why don't you give us a bit of a lowdown of exactly what sourcing is, and how someone can get involved in property in this this entry-level strategy, and become very successful financially, and obviously cut their teeth in the property industry, so to say.
Yeah, these days you can make between £3,000 to £5,000 for sourcing a property, and if it's in London, then a little bit more, But if it's outside the M25 or north of Birmingham, then you're generally looking at between £3,000 to £5,000 per property that you source. Now, in the early days, when I first started in property, I became very successful in a very short space of time in purchasing HMOs and buy-to-let properties, and I was sourcing my properties through estate agents, and I got very good at negotiating deals and structuring the properties with the agents, etc. So a lot of investors then started asking me if I could assist them in getting some deals, and those kind of conversations led me into sourcing, if I'm honest. And then I started sourcing for investors, and they started coming to me, and I started to build up a database of investors, and then I started sourcing for investors. And it's quite straightforward. I mean, it's as if you're buying properties for yourself. All you do is go onto the number one property platform, Rightmove, which is Rightmove, and you look up the lowest prices for 3-bedroom house, and you see what's on the market. And then you call up the agents and you say, hey, there's 3 main questions that I ask an agent always. Yeah, 3 golden questions, and these golden 3 questions made me a lot of money, actually. Yeah, and are you ready for these 3 questions?
Go on then. Yeah.
You know, people I know, they spend thousands and thousands of pounds by going on a course to hear these 3 questions, and here you are getting it from me for free. You know, yeah. I mean, but I'll tell you what the questions are. You know,
Yeah.
of course, if you want me to help you in getting you some deals, or helping you to source, or helping you to make money, you know, then there's an opportunity to work together. You know, because I'm beginning to go back into sourcing this year, actually. You know, because I'm sourcing for myself, so I can help you guys as well. You know, if you're willing to do a little bit of legwork, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, but I don't think you're ready for the 3 questions, are you?
We are. We are.
Is your mouth watering?
We want to hear our expert.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the first question is basically, you ask an agent how long the property has been on the market for. Now,
Okay.
that's a key question. Why is that a key question? Is because the longer it's been on the market, the easier it is for you to negotiate.
Yeah.
That's why it's a key question. How long has it been on the market? Yeah. And the next question is, have you had any offers? And why is that a key question? Is because if they have had offers, yeah, then there may then you know what type of offers they've had, and you know what's been rejected, and when you know that information, you know what kind of margin that you're going to be negotiating at with the vendor, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So the key question is, have you had any offers? Right. And the third question is, and the final question is, how many viewings have you had carried out?
Okay.
Yeah. And if you've had lots and lots and lots and lots of viewings, then obviously there's something wrong with the property. Like, yeah, if you've had no viewings, or you've had a few viewings, then and you've had 1 or 2 offers, then it may be that it's priced way beyond its current market value. You know? And if that's the case, then you need to understand what the value of that property is in this current market. And how do you do that? Is just by looking to see what else is sold recently in that area, on that road, for similar style. Once you know that information, then it'll help you to understand what the market value is.
Sure.
And then work backwards, and we'll take off 20% or 25% to make it a no money down deal. Yeah.
So that's the best way. So okay. So does that mean if they're pricing it too highly, and then you assume that the market value is about 10% less, how would you go about then negotiating a further 10-15% off to ensure that you're getting the best deal out of the property?
Yes. So you mean how to make sure that you're going to get a good return on investment yeah, by buying the property, BMV, we call it, below market value, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, the way I would work it out is that if the property's on the market for 310,
Mm.
yeah, I know that that property has got to be worth around 300k.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the state agent is always going to put 10k on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, and uh, and then to give me some confidence, I'll look on the market to see what else is on the market and what else is selling in
Yeah.
the, nearby, and that
Yeah.
will help me to establish what the correct value of the property is. And if it's around 300 that others are selling at, then that I know that that property is worth the 300 in the
Mm.
similar condition in its similar style.
Yeah.
And then I would go 25% off 300k. I would go, if that's my benchmark, then that's the offer that I would make. I don't have a calculator with me, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So 25% of 300, I'm assuming is 50k.
Yeah. So that would basically mean that by the time, if the estate agent's price is 310, we're possibly looking at a price around 275 or 260, something like that, just for argument's sake. How do you make an offer like that without insulting the estate agent, or um, getting them, them throwing you out the door, for example?
The thing is, I would never make an offer over the phone.
Right.
That's the first thing. I would get myself in the door by making an appointment for viewing, you know,
Yeah.
and then whilst I'm viewing with the agent, I would build a relationship with the agent by getting to know the agent, who they
Okay.
are, what they do, how long they've been there. I'd get them to like me first. So later on, when I do make that offer, it's if they're going to reject it, then it's laughed. You laugh about it. So
Yeah.
it doesn't come across as an insult. Yeah.
Insult. Right. Okay.
And well, in a buoyant market, you want to, in a buoyant market when everyone is buying,
Yeah.
and that's the time when you can't really put in low offers. But in a
Mm.
market like this where no one's buying and estate agents are struggling, they don't care what your offer is going to be anyway,
No.
because any offer is a good offer as long as it's an offer at the moment in this market,
Yeah.
because we're in a recession. And recessions, what happens? There's a lot of nervousness. There's a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people stay away from the market, and that causes more opportunity for more investors to come in to snap
Yeah.
bargains.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Faz. That was a great answer. That was a great answer. Right. So, moving strictly on, we talked a little bit about financial success. Did you when you were doing sourcing full time? Did you have some really good weeks? And just give us an example of numbers that you were achieving on a good week, for example.
So what I did, I mean, I tried, attempted to source in London for like a year. I struggled. I wasted a lot of money on marketing, and it was not happening for me. So I wasted a lot of time in London, and then I decided, all right, I'm not going to give up on sourcing. I went up to London. Sorry, up to north of England in Manchester, and I rented a room in a shared house. It was a HMO, and
Yeah.
my bedroom became my office. It became my bedroom. It became my living room. It became my study room. Yeah, so I started working from there, and I did a partnership with Simon Zucchi. Yeah, and as a joint venture, and in fact, there were 10 people like me that were lead negotiators on board his community. And my patch became the north of England, which was north of Manchester, everything outside of the M62.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I used to deal with places like Stockport, Rochdale, Bolton, Blackburn, Wigan, etc. everything up there in Burnley. I used to deal with, and then I also used to deal with Hull and Blackpool. Yeah, that was were my patches. So anytime a deal came along in my area, he had this website. It fell into the inbox, and then I would take it and put it into my folder, and then I would do the negotiating and go and see the vendor, call him up, and arrange to meet him and structure the deal, package it up, send it back to Simon. He would send it off to his investors, and we would take a split of 50-50. And that was the deal. And he was doing the marketing while I was doing the legwork. That was a great joint venture.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So he's putting the money in the marketing, and he's doing a lot of SEO, and I was doing the legwork and the running around. You know, he was making.
So spill the beans, Faz. What was a good week for you,
Yeah.
money wise?
Yeah. So a typical deal was roughly, we sold each deal for roughly between £3,000 to £5,000.
Okay.
You know,
So could you do 4 or 5 deals a week?
so yeah, oh yeah, very easily. Yeah, very
Yeah.
easily. Yeah, very easily.
Wow. So that means you were netting around. You could, on a good week, you could net around 20 grand.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Wow.
It's like
Life changing income, right? For some people.
you can't imagine the kind of money he was making. Yeah, yeah. But it was full on though. It's like I never used to get home till 10 o'clock at night. And then I used to had to package the deal up, stick it on a spreadsheet, send it off to Simon's manager, who was in Portsmouth at that time. And he used to send it out to Simon's investors. Somebody used to come back, and we used to get paid like a few days later. It's like crazy. It's crazy. The system is fantastic. Simon's a genius, man. He's brilliant. Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, I loved every single minute of it. We did that for a couple of years, and then when the recession really hit, Northern Rock went belly up, and
Yeah.
uh, a few of the banks just started uh, losing the plot. They started. There was this thing called self-cert mortgages, and which meant that doesn't matter who you are, you could get mortgage. Doesn't matter what your credit is like, you get a mortgage. And they were lending money out like crazy. And it came a time when it became too much, and then uh, the recession hit again, and
People abused it, right?
people abused it, and all these. Yeah, that's right. And the surveyors were given instructions by the banks to down value by at least 10%. And so when we were getting deals, we knew there was a deal, but when the surveyors was coming out, he was down valuing by 10%. So it wasn't a deal anymore if he was doing that.
No, can
A lot
imagine.
of
Yeah.
time, a lot of effort went into it, and then we had in Birmingham at the time, and we just gave him some feedback, and he said, "No, let's scrap this now. Now's not the time to be doing this." So we then just moved on in our lives, and I just continued. I went into rent to rent at that time.
Rent, yeah.
Rent to rent of 2014, and so I met you, wasn't it, Tony?
Yes. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that, Faz.
Yeah.
So, when you used to source Faz, how important was being compliant? Was that an important part? Is that an important part of sourcing?
Well,
What does someone need to become compliant?
you don't need to be compliant at that time. Anyone can become a sourcer.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now it's much more important now, right?
It's very important now. Yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to be. Because you've got to be dealing with people who are genuine. And in fact it's protection for investors more than anything else.
Yeah.
Dealing with there's a lot of sharks out there, and you just got to be careful. Yeah, there's got to be someone who's really genuine and knows what they're doing, and they walk the walk, and they actually deliver. They deliver what they say on the tin,
Yeah.
And I've been in business in 2007. I started in property. I don't think there's ever anyone said a bad thing about me, because I haven't done anything wrong ever, to anyone. I've always looked after other people's interests more than my own sometimes. you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Get, get it over the line for people. I've helped people lots and lots and lots. And I don't think there's anyone that has ever said a bad thing about me. You won't find anything on social media or on my website, nothing. Yeah, or on the internet. I mean, it's a compliment to my service, my skills, I suppose, and the values that I uphold, like integrity. Yeah, very very important to me.
Yeah, of course, that's the
Yeah.
main thing. But I mean, these days, obviously, there's certain things. For example, you've got to register with the ICO, you've got to register with the property ombudsman, and obviously have certain types of insurance. So anybody who's looking into getting into sourcing, please do make sure you research that. Obviously, send us a comment or a question, and we will gladly help you and sort of send you in the right direction.
Yeah.
So that leads us on to the sure. So our final question here, Faz, is can you give us an example of a property that you sourced and the steps that you took to find that property? How did you went? How you sort of negotiated with the investor? And just sort of talk us through that process.
I sourced the property. Actually, I sourced the property this week. Actually, should I tell you more about my latest property?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
My latest property. I sourced a property in Grimsby. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I just somebody told me that just put in anywhere, any town in the north of England, just put it into Rightmove, yeah, and that's what I did, and I put in there 3-4 bedrooms, yeah, and maximum bedroom left it blank, yeah. So this property boarded up 14 bedrooms, boarded up in Grimsby, yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it, yeah. So I rang the agent, and it was on for £345,000. I rang up the agent, and I said to the agent, "Look, this property, yeah, is losing money. The owner's losing money. Yeah, why don't I take the property off him, and I pay him more than £345,000 in 5 years' time. Yeah." And he said, "How much are you going to pay?" I said, "I'll pay 370 in 5 years' time." Yeah, but in the meantime, I just want to rent it out, and out of the rent that I get, okay, I'm going to give the owner £1,000 a month. Yeah, because I know that property will make £5,000 a month. Yeah, because I did my numbers. Yeah, yeah. So I've exchanged on £1. So I fixed the price for 370, which is I'm going to pay him in 5 years' time. I've got the obligation to buy, and I've done the contracts, and so I sold that deal to an investor, and I sold it for £5,000.
Wow!
The money came into my account today. Yeah. I made £5,000 this week, Tone.
That's really good. Wow.
Some people have to work. How long do they have to work to make £5,000?
A long time, yeah. A couple of months sometimes.
The average national income in the UK is 2K, so maybe 2.5 months.
Yeah, 2.5 months. Yeah.
That's 40 hours a week, though. So you're looking at least 100 hours. So I worked on this deal about 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and all I did was I negotiated with the agent, and he was happy. Then he's put me into the vendor, and he was happy. And then I said, "Okay, well, who do I know now?" And I rang somebody on my phone who's an investor, and he said he was happy as well.
Not bad, eh? Not bad for a couple of hours work.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. I mean, that was quite a fresh deal, actually. It was quite a good deal. Yeah. So that's given me motivation to do another one. Actually, so when you called me this evening, I was looking on Rightmove to see if I find another one. Yeah.
Great stuff, great stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, I hope that's inspired our viewers, and how they can get involved and get if they're looking to get into property and if it's something that they're interested in. So, if we have sort of given you value today, then please do leave us a comment, give us a like, and share, and do share with other friends or family who you think may be interested in our content. So thanks once again, Faz, for your great input today. That's been really helpful, and thank you for that. And we look forward to seeing you all on the next session. So thanks again, and have a good night, everybody.